Welcome to European Railway issue number 38. In this programme, we sample the Rhaetian Railway south of St. Moritz, a study of German secondary line activity around Berlin and to the north of Zwickau, mainline action in northern France, a look at the Slovenian line to the Port of Koper, Dutch branch line services to the northeast of Amsterdam, and finally a detailed look at freight and passenger traffic through the mainline station located at Hamburg Harbour. We begin in Switzerland and to the metre-gauge Rhaetian as it follows the northern route through the Albula Pass and down towards Bergun in the canton of Graubünden, situated in the southeast of the country. The line here is particularly busy as it forms a combined route from St. Moritz and Pontresina through the junction at Saint-Médard and onwards to Squale Terraspe and Chur. The route is surrounded by the high mountains of the Oberenga Din, which rise to over 3,000 metres above sea level. Our first scene is from the town of Bever, as locomotive number 605 heads a train from St. Moritz to Squale Terraspe. The most prestigious train of the day is the Glacier Express, which runs between the resorts of St. Moritz and Zermatt. Much of the rolling stock used on this service has wide sweeping windows that offer fantastic views of the Alps as they pass by. The train is extremely popular with tourists, particularly the Japanese, and is a must as part of any European tour. We now move to the northern exit of the Albula rail tunnel and to the station at Preda. The station is 1,789 metres above sea level and is popular in the summer months with walkers and cyclists. In the winter, it is the starting point for the renowned 7-kilometre toboggan run down the frozen road to Bergun. There are 2 tracks here which are used as a passing point for the roughly half-hour service between here and Bergun. Number 632 is seen on a service for Chur. In a view taken from close to the summit of the albular spiral loops, locomotive number 704 makes its way up the grade and onwards to the station at Preda. The winter toboggan run is actually the road we're standing on, something which will be seen more clearly as the train passes by. On the rear of the train is one of 4 1939-built Alpine Classic Pullman Express cars, which are used on summer services to and from St. Moritz. Our final scene comes from Bergun as GE 443 electric locomotive number 647 restarts its train for the run down to the next station located at Filisur. Many of the regional services in the former east of Germany are still in the hands of the state-owned railway, Deutsche Bahn, and employ a large number of ex-DR Class 143 electrics, operating with push-pull passenger stock. We look at services in 2 areas, the first to the west of Berlin, on the route to Magdeburg, and the other to the north of Zwickau. Many of the local services around Berlin are due to be handed over to private operators in the next few years, leading to the withdrawal of much of the locomotives and rolling stock currently used. The Class 112s and 114s work mainly in the Berlin area, they being an express passenger version of the more numerous Class 143. In our first scene, 112187 arrives at Werder, just to the west of Potsdam, with a train for Magdeburg. In the opposite direction, we see 114013 arriving with the 1106 service from Magdeburg to Berlin Ostbahnhof. Services on this line operate at 30-minute intervals. We head south now and to the line linking Leipzig with Zwickau. Here regional services are usually operated by Class 612 tilting diesel multiple units. This one passes on a service to Hof. The station here at Grimmitshau sees the arrival of a local stopping service operated by Class 143 number 850. The angle of the sun in this scene is just right to show off the unevenness of the steelwork on both the passenger vehicles and the locomotive. The train forms one of the hourly services to Zwickau. freight traffic is usually one service each hour in each direction, although this is set to increase with the electrification of the line to Hof in a couple of years' time. 155208 provides the power. Moving 8 kilometers to the east, and we are just outside of Zwickau as 143205 heads west with a train from Dresden. By and large, DB has retained most of the mainline local services and has given up trying to operate some of the smaller branch lines, happily handing these over to private companies. Local train operator Citybahn Chemnitz is one such operator. Here, one of their Regio Shuttle diesel rail cars calls with a service from Mirana to Stolberg. Just an hour away from Calais lies the small French town of Hazebrouck. We call into the station early on a Saturday morning to get a flavour of some of the traffic types to be seen at this busy location. The station lies en route to Calais, Dunkirk, Laon and Lille and sees almost constant activity. For our location, we chose the footbridge which straddles the station, as this offered some good photographic vantage points. Local services dominate the passenger scene, with electric units such as this providing the usual level of accommodation. Coradia Duplex Z24500 unit, number 657, enters the station from the nearby carriage sidings. Freight traffic was between 3 and 4 services each hour. Here, BB 36003 heads north with coal hoppers for probably Dunkirk. There is still a small amount of coal exported out of Calais, so we can't be sure of the train's final destination. BB 67-400 diesels still work occasional peak-hour passenger turns, but these locos are gradually being replaced with more modern trains. This pair is seen heading south after working a passenger service to Boulogne. This pair of units depart with a service for Dunkirk. A sister unit follows some 25 minutes later. Many of these new units replaced older BB 16-500 locomotives based at Long Depot, which were the mainstay of local passenger services for almost 40 years. Just 6 of these locomotives still remain in traffic. The BB 16-500s were also replaced by surplus and more modern BB 25-500 electrics, displaced from the Marseille area. Here, BB 25-647, a loco introduced into traffic on the 18th of April 1975, heads out of the carriage sidings and into the station with empty stock prior to forming a service for Lille. A rarity in these parts is Belgian Class 12 locomotive number 1212, seen heading for Saint-Marc Yard, after working a freight to Calais. Finally, BB 25629 arrives with the 0805 departure for Boulogne, a service popular with local French people keen to spend a day on the beach. In 1967, the Yugoslav Republic of Slovenia built the 32-kilometer line from Presnica to the Port of Koper, which was at that time being developed as a competitor to the Italian port of Trieste. Today, the single-track line is busy with international freight traffic and has been earmarked for special consideration by the European Union as a major artery linking the Mediterranean with Eastern Europe. We visited the line in the summer of 2009, close to the steep cliffs to be found just east of the port that rises to over 500 meters, which the railway has to descend. The main traction on the route is the Taurus electrics, where examples from Slovenian and Austrian railways can be found. The line here travels up to the valley head before a large sweeping curve, mainly in tunnel, takes the line down across the valley floor and on towards the port. During our stay, we saw between 2 and 3 freight services each way per hour, as well as the occasional passenger turn. The steepest segment of the line is between here and the inland town of Divača. European Commission funding is in place to modernise this line, including the construction of a second track and the remodelling of Divača station. The plan is to increase the daily number of trains using the route to 82, moving around 14 million tonnes of freight annually. The late evening sees this French-built Class 363 electric dropping down the grade. Note the concrete embankment which takes the line across the valley floor. The mornings and evenings are generally the busiest for activity. Here, triple voltage locomotive number 541108 heads a trainload of cars and vans for export. The station at Klanec pri Kocini lies just north of the non-electrified route into northern Croatia, which branches off here. Drawing to a stand is locomotive 363007, with 541108 bringing up the rear. There are only a handful of passenger trains on this line, with the majority of services in the morning or late afternoon. Arriving with a stopping service is this Class 310 tilting train set, forming the O350 from Maribor. There is just one return-through service over the non-electrified line into Croatia each day. Locomotive number 664103 departs with the 0831 service for Pula. Rounding the curve is 363024 with train IC503 from Maribor, the only passenger train on this line booked for Class 363 operation. In the opposite direction, this Class 911 diesel railcar was built for track maintenance work. This one retires to the permanent way depot opposite the station. Our final location on this line is at the junction town of Pivka, where the main line is joined by a single track line coming up from Croatia. In this section, we travel to the Netherlands and to a location around 35 kilometers to the northeast of Amsterdam, on the country line to Lelystad. This line is dominated by commuter services, mainly formed of electric multiple units. Plan Y3 three-car train sets are common on this line, on services to and from Amsterdam. This unit heads north out of Oldenzahout Forest for Lelystad. In the opposite direction, a DDAR set heads towards Amsterdam. Just east of Almer-Buiton, there is a large nature reserve popular with bird watchers. A bridge over a nearby canal offers a good vantage point, both for the wildlife and the trains. Finally, heading west is this Plan Y3 unit on a local service for Visp. Our major feature in this program takes us to the North German port of Hamburg, a huge generator of passenger and rail freight traffic in the country. We are just south of the river at Hamburg-Harburg station, which covers the large conurbations south of the main city. Most intercity as well as all local services stop here. All of the filming was taken on the late afternoon of Sunday the 18th of July 2010. Private passenger operator Metronome are in charge of many of the local services to be seen south of the city. This Class 146 heads a set of modern double-deck coaches. Even on a Sunday, as many as 15 freight trains were seen each hour. A northbound container train is seen here headed by Swiss Class 482 Electric, number 482045. ICE train sets make up around half of all the intercity services seen. This is one such service heading north, formed with unit number 401083. Most other services are operated by Class 101 electrics, such as seen here. Hamburg is also the starting and terminating point for many motor rail services across the country and the rest of Europe. 101040 heads towards the station, nearing the end of its journey from Austria. Class 110 electrics are now very much in the twilight of their careers, with many confined to working local commuter services. So it was a surprise for the cameraman when 110243 arrived from Berchtesgaden. Four intercity services call at the station every hour in each direction. Passenger loco 101027 brings up the rear of this northbound working. Metronome recently took over diesel-operated services on the line out to Cuxhaven, ousting the DB Class 218 diesels which had operated these for many years, in favour of their own brand-new Class 246 locos. As well as the intercity services that stop at the station, every hour at least 2 in each direction pass through. This is ICE set number 401084. Siemens Dispalock Class 1116 electrics, many belonging to private operators, are also seen on freight and passenger trains in the area. 1116902 heads this southbound liner. With more and more new operators wanting a slice of the rail market, any available locomotives are often returned to frontline duties, as seen here with this historic Class 221 diesel hydraulic, number 221134. Of course, many British rail fans will recognise this class of loco as the design for the famous British Rail warship class. The sheer variety of different locomotive classes seen here is worth a visit on its own. So too is the amount of different liveries to be seen. Unusual in sporting this advertising blue livery is DB Class 152, number 152136, seen heading north. On the eastern side of the station, the through lines are used for freight services heading north over the river to the city proper. From there, services continue north into Denmark, or east towards Rostock and Berlin. Number 155061 heads north with a Berlin-bound freight. This X-Class 202 loco, now renumbered V10002, and we think belonging to the firm HGB, heads north a few minutes later with this short engineer's train. We now move to the northern end of the same set of platforms, as 155066 heads on to the Cuxhaven line with this container train bound for Walterhof. As previously mentioned, Metronome now operate an hourly interval service to Cuxhaven. Arriving from the north is 246006, one of 8 locomotives built in 2006 that work these services. These two Class 185 electrics belong to Angel Trains Cargo and are subleased to Keolis Rail and VPS. Here they head north with empty coal hoppers. We now move to the middle set of platforms as this intercity express heads north for Hamburg. Arriving from the north is 101012, forming the delayed 1832 from Hamburg to Koblenz. Container trains are the most common form of freight train seen working through the station. Here, Dispolok Higher Loco number 189901 heads for sidings near Walterhof with a service for ITL Eisenbahn. Metronom operate regional services on the lines down to Bremen and Uelzen. Here 14603 heads north for Hamburg HBF.
Meine Damen und Herren, wegen Verzögerungen im Betriebsablauf wird intercity 2026 von Frankfurt am Main circa 10 Minuten später eintreffen. Wir bitten um Verständnis.
Our final scene in this program sees express passenger locomotive number 101017 arriving with train IC 1808, the 1539 from Köln, going forward to Westerland.
Nach Hannover Hauptbahnhof über Lüneburg, Uelzen, Abfahrt.
Without doubt, this is one of the most interesting stations to visit in the whole of Germany, where it combines frequent passenger and heavy freight services operated by a whole host of railway operators, and is definitely worth including on any tour itinerary. We hope once again that you have enjoyed this edition of European Railway.